Three scary stories about three scary true Walmart stories. Don't make me not go to Walmart again. Do you like eat? You know, true Walmart. Oh, we're only gonna watch one. Uh, what am I lagging?
Nights at Walmart are never the same as the last. Sometimes, my shift is so slow and boring that I'm struggling to stay awake. Other nights, it's a non-stop barrage of helpless customers, loiterers, shoplifters, and crackheads. The only thing that makes it any easier are my coworkers. Not long ago, an especially good friend of mine still worked here. Josie was the best part of any shift. Night by night, we were slowly becoming more than friends. And of course, that meant our managers made sure we rarely ever saw each other. The way they'd put us at opposite ends of the store. I guess they didn't want two of their best employees to accidentally find happiness together. But that's beside the point. One night, Josie and I were working the same shift, but as usual, not together. I had to help man the self-checkout area, and Josie was holding down the clothing department by herself. It was late, enough for a bit of excitement to start building up in my stomach. Not only would I be home in a couple of hours, but the fitting rooms were closing any minute, which meant Josie might be free to come help near checkout as the last of the customers left the store. However, I momentarily forgot where I worked. Walmart, a place in which even a fleeting moment of joy is easily destroyed. I had just finished checking someone's receipt, making sure they correctly scanned in their 8 cases of diet soda, when I waved them on and
8 cases of diet soda? Nah. Is that nigga like that throwing a party? 8 cases of diet soda? Nah.
waved them on and looked toward the entrance to see an unsavory sight. A large, sweaty, shirtless man was clobbering his way into the store. He didn't actually run into anybody, but he looked like he was either on something or off his rocker completely. Still, I had to step away from my station and tell him something important. Sir, stop! You can't be in here half naked.
You like first up? Nigga, you be Usain Bolt, nigga. You run super fast, man. This American show, bro, they try kill me.
You have to put a shirt on. I'm going to buy a shirt right now, dumbass. Mind your business. I didn't feel there was much of a choice for me but to let him slide. The guy was way bigger than me, so I didn't want any trouble. Reluctantly, I returned to the self-checkout area, trying to focus on the people there. I was at work. I didn't need to be a hero or anything. I just had to do what I was supposed to do and let the people in the clothing department handle that guy. A few seconds too late, it hit me. Josie was running the clothing department, alone. And right as I had the realization, I heard Josie scream. I immediately made a break for it, running as fast as I could. I got to the clothing department seconds later, but I didn't get there in time. I didn't save Josie. All I managed to do was to get there just to be able to watch. As that freak, he had this giant red knife in his hand from God knows where. He grabbed Josie and stabbed her. I saw the life drain from her eyes as she collapsed. The man fell on top of her, pulling the knife out just to take it into both hands and plunge it straight down, right through the center of her neck. I thought I must be having a nightmare, a hallucination, something. It couldn't be real. It all happened in 5 or 6 seconds, and just like that, Josie was dead. Even if I hadn't been frozen in shock, I couldn't have stopped it. No one could have. That man was a monster. And then he craned his neck back to look at me. His face...
Bro, this is the part where you don't even care. The part where you run. Listen. To be Usain Bolt, nigga. You run for your life. When you see a man like looking at your life, and you just see him kill a nigga? Nah. You run, you
mouth
run.
soaked in Josie's blood, his eyes full of such pure evil they couldn't have been human. Why? She wouldn't stop following me. Now why can't you just leave me alone?
Bro, bro, I told you to run.
The man started coming toward me. I wanted to stand there and fight him or die and join Josie, but I was too afraid. My instincts took over and I ran like a coward. I could barely breathe through the tears, and somehow that man was way faster than he should have been. A few more seconds, and he might have caught up and granted my wish. But at the last second, I realized I was running straight for a bunch of cops. I panicked and ducked, tripping over myself and sliding across the floor. The next instant, I heard a gunshot. A bullet flew right over my head. It made my ears ring. But when I could hear again, I heard the clicking of what I realized was a taser. I looked back and saw the man collapsed and rigid on the floor not far from me, as the
Why do you need
electricity
to
coursed through his
chase him when he
body.
shot
Too
you?
little, too late for some, but it was enough to help the cops arrest him and put a stop to the madness. Later, we found out the man had stolen a knife from the nearby Walgreens. The cops showed up so early because they were already looking for him, but they didn't expect the theft to turn into what it did. According to the police, the man said he killed Josie because he thought she was some sort of demon, something that had been stalking him for weeks, tormenting him. I knew it had to be madness. No sane individual would mistake Josie for a demon. No decent person would ever take her away from this world, away from me. A Walmart employee in Arkansas was taken out by a man who allegedly told authorities that he was being stalked by a demon. Around 10:58 p.m., officers were dispatched to a report of a man stabbing a woman inside the store. Officers arrived and encountered 37-year-old Cedric Ross, who was still armed with a knife. During the encounter, officers gave Ross multiple commands to drop
Bro,
the
is this a
weapon,
real
but he
story?
did
Bro,
not
I thought it was
comply
a scam.
and came toward an officer while still armed. In response, one officer fired one shot, but missed. Another officer then used a taser, and Ross was eventually
Why do we see the officer was actually stupid guy? Ah, bro, this nigga is fat, first of all. Yeah? How can you miss a white a warhead a white body shot? Bro, you must be fat, bro.
taken into custody. The victim, Jordan Drinkwater, 32, died at the scene from her injuries. During the investigation, Ross allegedly told law enforcement that he had stolen a large knife from Walgreens before the attack and a machete from Walmart for protection because he said a demon was stalking him. He described the demon as a light-skinned black woman with brown eyes and a weave whom he had only seen at a distance. While at Walmart, he said he allegedly grabbed the demon and began stabbing it in the neck and shoulder in an attempt to kill it. However, after the stabbing, he looked down and realized that the victim on the ground was not the demon he thought he had saw. Authorities said Ross was not employed by Walmart and was not known to Drinkwater and had no interaction with her before the attack. Ross is being held without bond and charged accordingly.
Just actually saddest and the most irony I've ever had in my life. But RP, maybe the saying so demons or something like that. You know the devil uses tricks, yeah. The devil uses tricks, hallucination. So maybe he hallucinated, stuff, and they die like that. RIP. Let's see to the next another one. Bro, how's my shit lagging here?
The night began just like any other night spent working at Walmart. I was already looking forward to leaving. I kept dragging myself through the shift on the promise I made to myself that I'd get utterly wasted the second I got home. I know that's a very unhealthy coping mechanism, but it will become obvious why it's become my method of choice for unwinding after a long day of work.
In my life, if I ever wanted to get to Walmart or any like other like local local I could work. I'll never do night shift. Shit, crazy things happen in night shift, gang. You don't know. Like security guard, Walmart, like anything. Uh, that that involves services, no night shift now. It's gonna be crazy. You may die. Shit, it's
At
crazy.
around 10 p.m., a particular woman walked through the front entrance. She didn't
This is where you run. Just smack the RKO and run. Don't even look
grab a
behind.
cart or a basket, nor did she seem capable of doing so. She had that telltale twitch of a tweaker. I couldn't tell what kind of drug she was on, just that she was on it. To try and ease the tension, I gave her the best customer service late night Walmart has to offer.
Welcome in, ma'am. Can I help you find anything?
Oh, find your nutsack and suck on it!
Okay.
Failing to reach the woman on a personal level, I began treating her like a shoplifting suspect. She was clearly too deranged to be left to wander around on her own, especially since we were short-staffed. I had a feeling the police would need to get involved if we had to remove her from the store. She was in her own world. To be honest, I was curious what she would even go for. It gets boring at night, and sometimes I like to play a little guessing game. What are the freaks going to steal this time? Food? Tampons? Deodorant? I've even seen them go for adult diapers a couple times. Turns out, I was wrong in every regard. She wasn't trying to steal anything. She crept all the way over to the bakery, where she stared at the bread shelf for several minutes. She looked over her shoulder, but she must have been too nearsighted to see me, as I wasn't even trying to hide. Then, she started digging through her hair. I rolled my eyes, thinking she probably had lice or something, but she pulled something out, something much larger than a bug, yet still too small for me to identify. She didn't stash it on her person like merchandise, though. With sudden dexterity, she opened a bread bag and inserted whatever it was between two slices of a loaf. I wasn't sure what I was seeing. The corporate drone in my brain couldn't compute. She wasn't stealing. She was adding to the shelves. I had to see it happen again to make sure I wasn't going crazy and seeing life playing out in reverse. A few seconds later, she reached into her pants. I was certain there was nothing in her hand before it went in, but when it came out, she had something small and grayish brown. I still couldn't tell what it was, though I clearly saw her stick it into another loaf of bread. So I knew it was time to ask her what she was up to. I didn't want to confront her like a security guard. I just wanted to begin the process of getting her out. I didn't realize how quickly things would escalate.
Excuse me, miss. I couldn't help but notice you just put something in that bread. Would you mind telling me what it was?
No, you didn't see anything. Please don't tell anyone. I have to do this.
I'm sorry, but you actually can't do that, and I will have to ask you to leave.
And if I don't?
Then I'll be forced to call the police.
Okay. You wanna know what I put in there?
Yes, I do.
Take a good look.
Out of nowhere, that bitch pulled out a rusty razor blade and slashed my arm. If I hadn't blocked, it would have gone straight to my face, but that didn't stop her from trying to cut my eye out. She lunged at me, swiping that razor through the air. Then she jumped on top of me. I fell back, smacking my head on the ground. I was focusing everything on trying to keep her from getting me with the razor, but I still felt it slicing through me all over my body. I was screaming for help and trying to keep my mouth shut at the same time, so she didn't shove it down my throat. After what felt like forever, I finally felt her weight get pulled off. She howled and shrieked as my coworkers worked together with all their collective power to restrain her. Even some customers came to help. It took everyone to rein her in. The cops came very soon after and locked her in handcuffs. Upon investigation, it was discovered that psycho woman had been stuffing razor blades into pastries and loaves of bread all night. Not just at my store, but at several other Walmarts in the area too. That's what those things she had stashed in every crevice of her body were. Rusty razor blades. I don't know what in her insane mind possessed her to do such a thing, but I don't think I'm capable of understanding. As for the fallout, the regional manager threw out everything in the bakeries made that day and sent out a message to the public warning all customers to do the same with whatever they had purchased. Luckily, nobody bit into any rusty razor blades because of that woman. As for myself, well, she didn't hit any major arteries. I got stitched up and poked with a dozen booster shots for tetanus and hepatitis A through Z, and whatever else she might have been carrying. I'm getting my blood work done again soon to see if I've been infected. Police in Mississippi have arrested 33-year-old Camille Benson after razor blades were found hidden inside loaves of bread and other baked goods at two Walmart stores in Biloxi. Authorities charged her with attempted mayhem and set her bond at $100,000 after customers reported finding the sharp objects in bread purchased from both a Walmart supermarket and a Walmart neighborhood market. Surveillance footage and police statements led to her arrest on December 16, and Walmart said it removed and inspected all potentially infected products at the impacted locations. No injuries have been reported, but police urged anyone who bought affected items to check with them carefully and report any concerns.
The fact that this person is looking like two-story cracked into scary, he makes he actually exaggerated it too much. That's why it's very disturbing moment for this.
Working this dead-end job at Walmart, I have no desire to go above and beyond for my team, and I've already accumulated quite a few unpleasant memories that will stick with me for the rest of my life. Without a doubt, this is the worst one. It started on a Friday night. Barely anyone was around, but of course, that was merely false hope. Right at the end of stocking a shelf, I noticed a woman enter the aisle. I could tell she was looking at me, making her way toward me. The woman called out to me with a raspy and pitiful voice, forcing me to make eye contact.
Sir, can I please use your bathroom?
I'm sorry, but we already closed the bathrooms.
I know. I'm sorry. But it's an emergency. Can you unlock it for just a few minutes? I promise I'll leave before you close.
I mean, I could get into trouble.
Please, you gotta understand, this is the last chance I have to go somewhere that's safe. If I don't go now, I'll have to do it outside. And the last time I did that, I got attacked. And I just can't.
Okay, fine. You don't have to explain all that. Just follow me. The woman immediately began to thank me profusely, but I told her in the nicest way to save it. Helping her felt like the right thing to do, but it didn't make me feel good. Not wanting to be seen together by my co-workers, I quietly led her to a family restroom, one of the single-use ones. The woman entered the bathroom and locked herself inside. I walked away before anyone saw me. I didn't want to be associated with any potential incidents. Afterwards, I went back to what I was doing and continued my shift like nothing was out of the ordinary. Really, nothing was unusual. I finished stocking everything, helped clean up, then I left the store on schedule. When I got home, I briefly remembered the woman, realizing I hadn't actually made sure she left before the store closed. I didn't dwell on it though. I figured one of the managers had to have checked that bathroom on their final sweep and dealt with it. Unfortunately, the next day, I clocked in and noticed something disheartening after just a few minutes. The bathroom I had helped that lady into was closed off. There was an out-of-order sign right out front, and the door was locked. All at once, I felt a mix of emotions. I had made the mistake of taking pity on someone. I helped them out, and they took advantage of my kindness. They were probably spinning a sob story from the start. And for what? To do what every other junkie does? Lock themselves in the bathroom and get high, despite my feelings. I did my best to forget about it, unless I got written up for it. The whole thing really was just a minor inconvenience. Someone, hopefully other than me, would get stuck with the dirty job of cleaning up after the mess. Then the bathroom would reopen, and it would be all par for the course for Walmart. However, an entire day passed, and nobody went in. Then another day. Finally, on Monday, it was me. I got stuck with it. Now, I was pissed. Half at this drug addict who lied to me, and half at myself for believing her. As I gathered some supplies before going in, I kept thinking about how I would probably get called into the office right afterward, shown the footage of me letting her in, then slapped with some stupid punishment. If only that were the case. No repercussions I imagined would have ever come close to the reality I was about to face. I was wholly and completely unprepared as I walked up to that door. I inserted the key and turned the lock with my guard entirely down. When I opened the door, as soon as it cracked, the foulest, most unforgettable stench hit my nose. If you've ever smelt it before, you know what I'm talking about. But
Nigga shit on it.
this is my first time experiencing it, and I had no idea what I meant. I only hesitated for a moment before barging in. Swinging the door wide open, there was a dead person on the floor, a woman, the same scrawny, helpless girl I helped a few nights ago.
Now, wait. Listen, he let the woman out, yeah, and um, the next day the toilet was out of reach, yeah. Then how did after a few days, how did the body did not smell like the whole like the whole woman? It should have been smelling bad, yeah. People will already know.
She'd been trapped in there this whole time. Her body was bloated and leaking dark, festering fluids everywhere. I recoiled with every fiber of my being. I slammed the door shut, falling backwards away from the bathroom, and subsequently throwing up on myself out of pure shock. Suddenly, every bit of self-wallowing I'd been allowing myself was put into perspective. I didn't have a shitty life. That woman did. I was just a shitty person. Yet I'm still alive, and she met her end in a Walmart bathroom. The fact that the cause of her death was an overdose matters very little to me now. I was the last human face she ever saw, and all I wanted was to get her out of my sight. Surprisingly, I didn't face any charges, nor did I lose my job, but that doesn't alleviate the guilt. This incident occurred in June 2017 at a Walmart in Sand Springs, Oklahoma. Catherine Caraway, 29, was found deceased in a single-use family bathroom at the back of the store on a Monday afternoon. Surveillance video showed Caraway entering the restroom around 6 p.m. on Friday, meaning her body remained in the locked room for approximately 3 days. A Walmart employee tried to enter the locked bathroom on Friday, and assuming it was broken, placed an out-of-order sign on the door without checking inside. The body was discovered when the bathroom was finally unlocked on Monday. While police initially did not consider the death suspicious, a later autopsy indicated the cause was related to difluoroethane toxicity, often from huffing aerosol propellant.
Okay, Chad, that's all of it. Watch scary movies. I streamed 2 hours. And actually, the movies wasn't quite like scary, but that's all I'm saying. Thank you for everything. Thank you for being my stream, and I'm gonna end everything. GG's, man.